Macaulay Jones makes his debut in commentary alongside me for today's one. We've got some interesting conditions outside. There's a threat of rain. There always is at Phillip Island, but a few sprinkles just on our window a few moments ago.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been here without the weather playing a part at some point in the weekend, so I think it'll be an interesting run for them.
You've had a chance to race against some of these guys in the field. You're looking through the grid just before us, some names you recognise.
Yeah, there is a few here. I used to race some of them in go-karting, Kel Tressiter being one of them, and Blake Skibberus, and also watching James Duckworth come up as well. It's yeah, it's good to see that they've stepped up from the karts and are racing something a bit different, and even having someone as young as Jack Duckworth and Kel Tressiter and watching them battle again.
You look at Zach Best, for example, too. He's just 14 years old out there now. Ruth Bowler down towards the back of the field there with Ian Shivers and Grant Thompson. Some of the movers yesterday, we saw James Duckworth go from position 12 up to 5. This will be the starting grid based on the results of race number 1. Later today, in race number 3, we reverse the field and handicap them in blocks of 10, so it makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, that'll definitely shake things up a little bit, get some good shakers and movers.
Here's Blake Skibberus out there, the Western Sydney Motorsport Hertz-sponsored entry, car 68. Getting set to take his spot very, very soon. And it's interesting looking outside here. I mean, these guys have been looking to the skies. There's a big dark cloud over the back sort of turn 12 region. It might pass over during this race, but it must make you guys nervous.
Oh, definitely. Definitely makes you nervous. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, whether it's going to start to sprinkle some rain at even just at one part of the track and not the other. So it'll definitely be interesting.
They give them an extra warm-up lap here. They come out onto the track through this part down at turn 4 at the old Honda hairpin and looking out over towards Bass Strait. That's not where the weather's coming from, surprisingly enough. And just a few drops on our camera lens.
Yeah.
We can see the top of Lukey Heights here.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, it looks really nice, and you just go out for a surf, but turn around and I think you'll have a different story.
How'd you find it yesterday? A lot of the drivers were saying it's a bit lacking of grip out there.
Yeah, it was definitely improving over the day. The morning sessions were quite difficult, but definitely as the grip comes down, the times are getting faster, and we've seen some record times being punched out, like in the yesterday Arvo with Scott McLaughlin, and even in the Utes just earlier.
Let's check it out right now. Looking over the top, that's where it's coming from. Nice and dark out in the distance, but it's such a small patch. The forecast is for showers, but that's standard operating procedure for Phillip Island racing on a weekend. Come down to the bottom of the MG hairpin here. It's a fantastic circuit, isn't it?
Oh, it is amazing, and I think the TV coverage doesn't quite give it justice with the undulation.
As they come around to line up some debutants this weekend, we got young Madison Dunstan, who makes her start this weekend, the young Townsville racer, and Charlotte Pointing from Newcastle. It was meant to debut at Adelaide, but it's getting the start here this weekend, joining this 33 car field for race number 2 today. It's Kyle Clues. He came back at Adelaide and had a fairly strong run there. Good in race number 1 yesterday, got himself inside the top 10. Happy to see Ben Walsh doing so well there. And this guy was touted as a future Formula 1 star back in 1998 before he had a big crash. And now finds a nice home here in the Aussie racing cars. Runs Miss Moneypenny's business up there in Noosa.
Yeah, there's a few guys in the field that have got quite a bit of experience, like Kyle Clues. He's been in there for a while, and Walsh, I think it's good to see him get his first win and race against some top guys.
Kel Tressiter joins him on the front row. Debuted at the Sydney Olympic Park finale last year, full-time this year in the series. Look at that view. Look at that view down.
One of the most amazing places.
What is the key, though, to getting a good start?
Just get off the line. You don't need to have the best start, but you need to have consistent ones, I think. You're better off holding position than losing positions.
If these guys, probably the first 5 or 6 rows are on the flat part of the track, but anyone further back, you're on a rolling downhill section, aren't you?
Yeah, you got a bit of a jump start on them, so it's always got a bit of a jumble up in the first corner from that momentum.
Oh, a bit of a question mark here. That car's probably on the edge here, isn't it?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a little on the edge, but we'll see if they have to do anything about that.
Wait to see what happens to race control here as the green flag waves to the back. Race number 2 of the 2016 Aussie Racing Car Super Series, the second round of the championship, and it's lights out at a great start for Walsh. Brilliant start from our pole man to jump on board with Blake Skibberus on the run down here. It's peak hour with 3 wide for the front guys here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get a bit tighter. Having 3 wide doesn't always work, but We'll see how it goes.
It's all about getting the most out of cold tyres here, and that's why you see the likes of Walsh and Tressler trying to get out of here. Side-by-side action here for 4th and 5th.
Yeah, Ben Walsh has definitely got off to a great start there. Had a really good reaction to the lights, and now he's managed to get a few car lengths gap over Tressler.
And that was James Duckworth, who stays in 5th. He was being challenged for that position after starting in 12th for race 1 yesterday. Blazed his way up for a top 5 result.
I think coming into Honda is an awesome place to pass here, so I think the turn one, big lock up.
Walsh is locked up, and he's going to drop back at least 1 position here. And Tressler will take it right down to Siberia here. So Walsh back to 2nd, and watch Pingle.
He's definitely got a little lucky there, though. I think you're going to easily get off into the grass from locking a front tyre there.
And easy to do down there, isn't it?
Oh, very easy. I think it's such a hard braking place, and coming around turn 3 is quite a tricky setup for braking.
Through the sweeping Hayshed section, the right, then the left up the top of the hill here. Pingle looking fairly racy. He's got some support from Pinnacle Valve Solutions this weekend, joining the champ. We climb up the top of Lukey and down to MG.
It's another great passing spot, but another place you can easily lock a wheel as well.
Duckworth and Young side by side. Young in pole position in Adelaide, and now
had a bit of contact there between Walsh and Pingle.
And this is going to open up, isn't it? Now, Walsh will slot back in. He's in the slipstream. I wouldn't like to be Pingle right now. No,
I don't think so. I think Ben Walsh has lost a little momentum from that contact, though.
Down they come. The slipstreaming starts on the famous Gardner Straight here. Walsh pulls out the slipstream. He's on the inside. He's going to have the better line. He'll take Duckworth with him.
I think there's a few people moving around here. Into turn 1, it's a tricky corner to manoeuvre around, especially from the inside of the track.
Yesterday's race was a little bit quiet by Aussie racing car standards, and they've turned up the wick here today.
Bit of contact.
Little bit of contact there on the back of Walsh, and Duckworth looking very racy here. I like this battle. Tressler just needs to look ahead and not look behind right now, because there's an angry pack of Aussie racing cars.
Yeah, and I think if these guys from 2nd to 5th keep fighting, it might give Kel a bit of a chance to get a bit of a gap and maintain it.
Look at the squirming under brakes then from the RDA brakes number 10 of Duckworth. Picked up a feature race on the dirt track a couple of weeks ago too in the Legend cars. And now getting the short back and sides down to Siberia. It's Tressler from Walsh. We go back to Duckworth, Pingle, Young and Tucker in 6th at the moment. Lap 2.
I think these cars would be quite tricky to drive, especially in conditions like this, being quite cold. They're not the most gripped up cars, so they slide around quite a bit.
There's not much wind out there to speak of either at the moment, which is a good thing and a bad thing. These guys are like a nice little tailwind down the Gardner Straight. There's Miles Bond in car number 7, the Tonsley Smash Repairs entry. Had an oil leak in qualifying, then had trouble with the rear diff on this car. The 4-link setup on this failed in race number 1 yesterday. For a moment then, it looked like the Hertz car almost spun around down at MG. Well, race is just starting to come alive. Down in pit lane is Cameron Vandendungen.
Matt, you mentioned the wind before. It wreaked havoc with them yesterday. It's actually a headwind. So this is what we saw at the end of the day yesterday with V8 supercars. It'll certainly make these cars dive around down the main straight.
Thanks to Cam in the pit lane there. He's got one of the best seats in the house. He's just to the left-hand side there from Blake Scaveris' entries. We're 3 wide. Oh, close your eyes, Macaulay. I can't watch.
See if they can get around here cleanly. Definitely getting a bit of oversteer out there. It's not the cleanest part of the track.
This is crazy stuff. Down into Southern Loop, and Duckworth. He's got the elbows up today.
Yeah. It's definitely letting him know he knows he's there.
They sweep out and now down along side Bass Straight. So Pingle side by side with Duckworth. The 2015 champ, the Lockyer Valley sponsored entry side by side, but Duckworth will have the better line down here.
This could get interesting. He's squirming around under brakes there a fair bit.
Here he goes for now. Meantime, the leaders have got about a second ahead. Walsh is on the back of Tressler.
Giving him a bit of a wave there, I think.
I hope that was a wave and not something else. Here they come out of Siberia, and the big run behind the back of the hay shed.
And
here's
they're
Pingle
side by side again. Through the hay shed.
Wouldn't recommend this in a V8 supercar, though.
I definitely wouldn't recommend that.
These guys don't matter. Oh, a big crash here for Michael Rinken. Looks like on the exit of the old Honda hairpin on the inside. The man from Muswellbrook has taken the front bonnet off of it. We'll keep an eye on what goes on down there.
Yeah, might have got onto the AstroTurf and lost the rear a bit there.
It's very possible. Maybe we'll keep the race green at the moment here. Here's a replay coming up on the exit. Was there contact?
Oh,
he got on the gas a bit early, maybe a bit of contact, and it's unforgiving, those tyre walls.
Yeah, that bodywork didn't want to hold on either.
No, it was out of here. At least he'll keep the engine cool.
He's managed to keep going though. Oh.
You somehow don't think race control are going to like that going on, but at least he'll keep the engine reasonably cool for the remaining 4 laps.
It's probably the only benefit of that.
The side, or 3 wide once again,
here.
And now it's Young. Duckworth holds on.
Holding off.
This now brings Tucker into the mix as well. And he's going to bring Kyle Clue. So suddenly we've got 5 cars in this.
Such great racing, being able to run 2 wide just about at any corner around here. Definitely couldn't do that in the V8.
Would you like to have a crack at one of these?
Yeah, I think that'd be great fun to drive. I mean, yeah, they race so close, and with 32 people in the field, you know, like...
The big winner of this is going to be Tucker.
No,
and he's got into Duckworth. Oh, man. The hitman is back. And the Camaro's had its nose punched in.
It's not looking quite brand new here. It's got a bit of tyre rub as well, which could play a big part.
Gee, it's only race number 2, and that's going to hurt him, isn't it? It's not going to be very dynamically efficient on the main straight. We see the Rinken car pulled up on the left-hand side there out of Siberia. Back to the leaders, and now Ben Walsh is all over the back. Where do you look here?
Yeah, so much action going on everywhere. I think Ben Walsh is just catching Kel Tresser a little bit here, and he'd be looking for a way that he can get by.
Down into MG they sweep, so half race distance lap. For the first 4 laps in the go-by, as we see it's still going on in the background. Adam Ubergang's buying into this argument as well.
Bit of a freight train going on now.
And that's the replay of the 4 of Tucker getting into Duckworth. This might tell us the story a bit better.
I think he just went in there a bit too hard, and yeah, was a bit ambitious with getting the 2 of them and trying to get Duckworth.
And this has happened just as we were showing that replay. This is coming out onto the final turn, and Kyle Clues got in there and made sure we peel the front of the Camaro off now. Look at it.
I'm not sure that's going to be very aerodynamic down there.
What a shame. He'd be hoping for a bit of a side wind here, wouldn't he, to blow it straight off into the grassed areas and continue on. There he is trying to cruise down the straight. Oh, what a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame. He'd be struggling to see out of that.
Don't think he'll be having too much fun with this at the moment.
No.
Back to the leaders, though, and now Walsh. This has happened while we're watching the Tucker machine heading down the main straight. So Walsh is back into position 1, taking the lead away from Kel Tresseter.
Like we said earlier, I think the slipstream that you get down the straight here can play a big part, and you just need to set up to get close enough like he has done to get down by the straight.
It was brewing from MG. We watched them come out of there while watching the replays, and fairly textbook move, wasn't it, down into turn 1? Yeah,
I think Kel's sort of playing it quite safe and not trying to fight it too hard.
Here's Chris Stevenson back in 17th position. When you think there's 33 cars out there at the moment, he's doing a pretty handy job. Out of Siberia he comes. So that threat of rain looks like it's disappeared for the time being. We didn't need the rain to spice up the action.
No, I think they got plenty of action as it is.
Not passed down the inside. On the way through, it was Adam Casuccio making the pass up there into the top of Lukey Heights.
It's interesting to watch the onboard here. They've got quite a bit of wheel movement going on.
So still lacking a bit of grip out there, perhaps. Back onto the main straight. Kyle Clues up in the 5th spot now. He's got Duckworth. There is Pingle and Young. We go back to Clues, so it's 3, make it 6 or 7 cars to buy in the final couple of laps of this race 2 of the Aussie Racing Car Super Series.
I think we just had Ben Walsh do the record lap time here, race lap record time anyway, with a 1:46.9.
He has. He's gone on the record. 46.9 is 2/10 quicker than the record set by Morris Massini.
That's just showing that the track's very fast considering the conditions.
Saw some smoke on the right-hand side of Duckworth's machine as he went through the southern loop. Yeah, look at the front end. It's got a bit of a hit on the RDA number 10. There's Miles Bond inside the top 10. The South Aussie for Tonsley Smash Repairs starting to climb onto the back now of Duckworth. You'd think he'd get him here with a couple of laps to go. This has given the leaders a big margin now, hasn't it? 5 seconds from Tresseter back to Pingle, so they're shutting the race down, but certainly not over between them. Half a second between Walsh and Tressida. Lap 6 of 8. Another race to come up in just a couple of hours here at the WD-40 Phillip Island Super Sprint. But back on board with Stevenson.
We've still got an interesting battle going on here. I think there's a lot of action here. I think the slipstream again is playing a big part where there's a lot of changing going on.
Leaves us the last second, doesn't need to lift. You're right about this part because it goes up so high that it's just a sudden drop down, but it's a long drop, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is, and again, like the footage doesn't show it justice, but big oversteer moment there.
Cut me a slice of that, please.
He's done well to catch that.
That was huge.
I think it might hurt his run a little bit down to the straight, but
might have hurt him in the Hertz car, perhaps.
Yeah.
I like it. Through they come. Lap number 7. The leaders are blazing past us now. So another replay further back. That's Casuccio in the 111. And the inside of the 65 of Glenn McNamara. We're watching that from the onboard.
Oversteer here, yes. Drift King here. That was very nice.
Tommy believe the Dunstan car may have dropped the cylinder back there. It's a shame for young Matty. And watch this, the onboard. Doing his best sprint car move.
Got on the throttle hard and early.
Yeah, that's how we like it.
Style points.
I like it. Give him 10. Meantime, back to the leaders. Lap 7 down to Siberia. So battle for first and second, then a 5-second margin back to third and fourth here. And Miles Bond is now up to 6th, being challenged by Duckworth, who's carrying a wounded race car. It's a tight little corner, Siberia, isn't it? It dips away in the middle. You've got to get it right.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky corner to judge the entry speed as well. I think you don't want to rush it too much because you've got such a long flowing circuit after it to drive up to the Hayshed and to Lukey.
Still that smoke, so he's got damage to the right front of the RDA brakes entry, just trying to bring this car home and get some points.
Yeah, you can see that front splitter there flapping a little bit, which definitely wouldn't help his aerodynamics or the damage that he has.
This is good for Miles Bond, who suffered an oil leak during practice and qualifying and didn't have a great run in race number 1 to reward his hard-working team, the family-based team out of Flagstaff Hill. Drama down here, the 69 machine. That's at the hairpin, the old Honda hairpin down.
At turn 4 there.
At turn 4. He's having trouble getting the car restarted. Meantime, the final lap is underway for Ben Walsh, looking for race win number 2 of the weekend.
He's managed to pull a bit of a gap there, so I think if he can hold on just for this lap, he should take out his second win for the series.
Good confidence build. Keep in mind, it's been 15 years since he had a race win. This is down the inside Blake Scaveras. He thought about it. It's so quick down into turn number 1.
Very fast through there.
Down to Southern Loop. Just feed. You've got to be so patient with the throttle here, don't you?
Very patient. It's a very long exiting corner. You just got to make sure that you can keep the thing stable and get on the throttle smoothly and strongly.
Sweep down to turn 4. One of the big passing opportunities here could come from a long way back. We'll keep an eye on that, as well as this battle between Bond and Duckworth. And David Sultana's got himself back inside the top 10 too, ahead of Kyle Clues now.
Yeah, this pack here could get pretty fiery in the last half of this lap.
Up to the top, the battle for third place, the 2015 champ, Brendan Pingle and Trent Young all over the back of him.
Might have a bit of a lunch. Oh, he's got some blocking. This could hurt his run out, though. There's you need to set up a good pass so you can try and get him on the line.
Pingle saw that coming a mile away as Duckworth just got past Bond in the background of that shot. Meantime, our leader sweeping through the final turn here, and Ben Walsh, pole position yesterday. He got race number 1. He picks up his second win of the weekend in the Aussie Racing Car Super Series here at Phillip Island.
It was a great drive by him. Had a bit of a tussle early in the stages and managed to pull it off and get past Tressida.
It's still on here between Bond and Duckworth. I think Bond is just going to get it. Oh my goodness, it was close. And I'm telling you now, it's less than 0.05 of a second. Give it to Miles Bond.
That's a great finish. He managed to set that up really well.
The never say die attitude of Duckworth, though. He'll get 6th in that one, behind Bond, Sultana, Clues, Haber and Uber Gang. But these guys have been the class act this weekend, haven't they?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting race to watch. It was action-packed.
This is the replay to the finish line. We thought here that Bond might have been safe, and all of a sudden Duckworth just snuck up alongside him. And it's less than 100th of a second on our screens here. It's readjusted, and look at that.
Yeah, the camera angle there was a bit deceiving. It looked like he was a little bit behind, but as soon as you get next to him, that was very close.
Awesome race, but race number 3, where we flip and reverse them. These guys will start from the back. Well done to Ben Walsh. 1.8 seconds is the margin. Back to Kel Tressiter, Brendan Pingle in 3rd, Trent Young, Miles Bond 5th position, James Duckworth, David Sultana down to Adam Ubergang, who finished in 10th position. Good job to Harley Haber there too. Another top 10 result for the number 21 car. There was Craig Woods, Mark Griffith, Blake Scabera, Sack Best, another awesome effort for the 14-year-old. Then Kasuchio, McNamara, Ludby, back to Stevenson and Waters.